This week's tip is a special request, and it's something that new knitters will be more interested in than experienced knitters. So if you are an experienced knitter, you can turn this off right now. And it's how to unknit or how to unpick so that you don't get problems. Now, this could be any mistake, but for the mistakes in this example, I've got, are just a random purl stitch on the front. And if I'm on the same row and I notice that I have a mistake, I can just unknit. And it's kind of like knitting backwards in a sense. And I insert my needle from the front into the stitch below and I undo it. Insert it into the stitch below and undo it. Insert it into the stitch below, and I just repeat this until I get to where the mistake is, and then I can go ahead and knit. Now, when you unknit, you're always going to be orienting the needle on the stitches on the needle properly, because if I'm going this way, notice that the right leg of the stitch is in front, and that is proper orientation, so that when I knit into the front of it, I'm just going to knit and it's going to leave me an untwisted stitch. It would be difficult. What you don't ever want to do, and it's more difficult, is to come in from the back when you're unknitting, because that twists the stitch on the needle. Notice that the left leg of the stitch is in the front, and if I knit into the front, it is going to twist that stitch at the base. And twisted stitches are something to avoid unless you're doing it on purpose for decorative effect. Now let's say that I've got this mistake down here. In earlier videos I showed you that I could actually ladder down to that and fix it. But let's say in this case that I want to undo it. What I do is I simply take all the stitches off my needle and I just rip it until I get to the point where the mistake is. And there's where the mistake is. And then I put the stitches back on the needle. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put these stitches on any old which way. I'm going to put some through the front, some through the back, because I want to make a point here. And then I'm going to do the same on this one. Some through the front. If you can hear that sawing or whatever the hell it is, my neighbors are doing some work on their house. Sorry for the distraction if you can hear it. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and now I'm purling. Now remember what I said about having the left leg on the front side. If I were to purl this, it would twist it. So I've got a choice. I can reorient it, or I can work it through the back. Either one of those will work. Now here's one. Notice that it's not oriented properly. The left leg is on front, so I'm going to work it through the back. And this one is proper. The right leg is in the front, back, back, front, front, and back. Well, the whole point of this is that you're trying to avoid those twisted stitches when you undo. And remember, I undid part of the row over there, so my stitches are going to be fine up to this point, but when I get to that part, I'm going to have to do some adjustments. And now I'm at the point, notice left leg in the front. If I were to knit that now, it would twist the stitch, so I'm going to work it through the back. Whenever you have a stitch that's not oriented properly on the needle, you can work it through the back, and that will untwist it. There's my kitty, my little blind baby. Okay, and there we go. And I fixed the mistake. Now, next week I'll talk about how to put in lifelines, and if you're doing a stitch pattern that can get kind of messed up, that is the way to go.